yarn lovers, it's Gary and I'm coming to you from my living room in Vancouver, Canada. So welcome. Today is Sunday, September 13th, 2020, and this is video number 73. How's everyone doing? It's been a week of so many events happening for me. I've been doing a lot of crafting. The city of Vancouver is kind of like a weird atmosphere right now where we have a lot of smoke that is blowing up from the San Andreas winds coming from California, and all the forest fires that are happening down from California, Oregon and into Washington. So my heart goes out to all those people who have been evacuated and moving out of the dangerous spot, and please stay safe. My thoughts and prayers are with you, and I know at this time it's very difficult to I guess build up the courage and strength to get out there and fight those wildfires, and it just seems to be an ongoing thing that happens every year now for both Australia and the West Coast in the United States and Canada. So yeah, I do think about that quite often, and this week in particular, because it also is quite present here in Vancouver's air. The air quality is quite thick with smoke, and so what I'm going to do is jump into the crafting and talk about like what I've been doing during the course of the week. So if you're just new to this channel and you've just happened across for the very first time, hi, my name is Gary and I'm the host of Urban Yarn. So I've set up this channel to talk about things like my knitting, my crocheting, my yarn hand dyeing, which I haven't done for a while, but I'd love to get back into it. And my acquisitions, so I talk about price points on where I buy things. I do a little bit of a review. So today what I've got for you are some finished objects, an update on one of my works in progress that I've been featuring in past podcasts, and to talk a little bit about my first tutorial as well. So I'm really happy about like having the courage and getting such great feedback from fiber friends out there. So if all of that stuff interests you and you're new here, please sit back and enjoy the next little while I go through my content. And if you do like what you're seeing and listening to, please give me a thumbs up, and also think about joining my fiber friends. So yeah, and to all those fiber friends who are returning, welcome back. Let's jump into the podcast. So as you can see, my first finished garment is the Fitzgerald sweater that I am wearing, and I did a little bit of an intro sneak peek to it when I did the opening credits for this podcast. So what do you think? I don't know whether you can see it. I'm going to get up on this stool, maybe. Let's have a look if this works. Oh yeah, that works. So really good length. I'm super happy with the results. We'll talk about the I guess the construct a little bit, but also what yarn I used as well in this. So if you watched the previous story of this sweater as it moved along, I will show you where I got it from. So Kim from Affordably Crafty, she gifted me this pattern book from Noro, and it's a knit book. So it's all designs from Jane Ellison, and I chose the Fitzgerald sweater, which is, I guess it's a paid for pattern. I will link the paid for pattern down below in the description box, and here is the look of it here. Now, I made some alterations along the way, quite drastic alterations for the chest size that I have. It told me to do a garment width of 50 inches, so that would be a good, I'm going to say 10 inches of ease, 5 inches on each side of my body, my trunk of my body. But when I did that, I knitted up a small section and I wriggled myself into the circular tube that I created, and it was way too big for me. So I reduced by 28 stitches, and I came to my 4 inches or 5 inches of positive ease, so 2.5 inches on each side of the garment. And it sits really well. It uses a drop shoulder where the trunk of the construct is kind of like straight up and down, and then you attach the arms. So without giving too much away, because it is a paid for pattern, I altered the sleeves as well, as was mentioned in a previous video, and what I had was sleeves that kind of started from here, and the tapering in was quite severe. So I had these kind of bat wings. Someone called them bat wings, so I'm going to adopt that term. So thank you for that. And I reduced the armholes by a good, I'm going to say, I covered it in another episode, but I'm going to say maybe a good 2.5 inches, maybe 2 inches of, I closed up the holes a little bit tighter than what was requested by the pattern. So yeah, nice length in the sleeve, nice decrease going from the reduced size of the sleeve hole down to the cuff. And yeah, so let's talk about the yarn. I actually did I want to say it's helico or helixco knitting, which is alternating each row in a new yarn, just to alternate the color so there's no pooling, and sharing the color distribution throughout the full garment. And I had to do some cutting to get the similar colors to start off with the sleeves. There is a slight variation on the sleeve makeup with the colors because the transition of the balls that I was using didn't have the same length of transition. Slightly different, so not identical sleeves. But I kind of like it. It makes it feel a little bit more handmade. So what we used, or what I used here, was the Cascade Tangier yarn. I've mentioned it several times. So it is I think they classify it as a number 4. It's not on the ball band. But I used a 4.5 millimeter set of knitting needles, and it is made up of 53 silk, 17 cotton, 16 acrylic, and it looks like 14 rayon. It's sort of obscured by the darker part of the labeling. But beautiful, beautiful, lovely yarn. I loved working with it. It's quite, I would say, rough to begin with on your hands, so it has a cottony feel. But as it worked up, it has a bouquet almost as well, showing little knobs of the silk, I guess, coming through. So I really, really like that, the construct of the fibers, and it gives it a beautiful, I'm going to say, more of a rustic and country feel to the finish of the fabric. So really nice yarn. I loved it. I got that yarn many months ago. I'm going to say maybe 12 months ago from Lovecrafts. And it was on a steal price at the time. It was reduced down to $7 and some cents per ball. And what do you get in the ball? Let's have a look. You get, where is it? 200 meters. So I'm gonna say I used probably around 5.5 of those balls. So just over 1,000 meters. And I had a lot left over because I had used up the balls in to get the coloring that I needed from the skeins. And I didn't use one ball at all, so I can show you how it comes. Where is that ball? Here we go. That's a ball, and that's how it looks when it comes in. It's 200 meters. So yeah, I'm going to say it's probably a 3-weight. It's a roving style yarn, so it goes from thick to thin. And I'm going to say that the smallest part would be probably a sport weight, so a 2-weight, and the thickest part would be possibly a 4-weight, 4-weight thickness. But most of it is 3. I'm going to say that it's mostly a light 3. And I used 3 different colorways in this sweater. I used what they called the teal gray. I used what they called the blue gray. And I used another one, which is the brown, blue, beige, I think it was called. Brown, blue, beige. So if you need the numbers for the colors, it's number 25, number 28, and number 27. So 25, 28, and 27. So yeah, I have a lot of these little leftovers to get through, and my best part about going through and busting through scraps is that I do my most experimenting with scraps. So I'm thinking of doing maybe another yoke using all of these scrap yarns to another sweater and see how it looks. If it looks like something I want to complete and carry on, I will do the trunk, and I'll also do the sleeves for it as well. So I'm just going to practice my yoke building with these scraps. So the other thing that I finished, you may have seen in the video list of episodes that on Tuesday I posted video 72, which was my very first tutorial. So a few of you wonderful viewers have commented on the tutorial, and thank you for the encouragement, all the great messages that you left for me in that tutorial video that I posted. And I'm going to be honest, it was difficult. It was very much a different process of presenting. I had filmed over the course of 3 days. I had lots of interruptions outside. The construction is still going on in the front of the building here, and we had sirens. I don't know what was going on yesterday. There was a lot of emergencies, I think, in my neighborhood, so I had to stop recording, and obviously I was kind of a little bit in it. I guess my words and my motions with my hands were a little bit of a test as well, so that what I was saying was what I was actually doing, and the setup of the camera with the arrangement of all of the construction that I had made to balance my camera on, I was a little out of camera, I was out of focus. It was just a whole new kettle of fish for me. So I do appreciate you being patient with getting that tutorial, and also if you see some things that aren't meshing up well in that tutorial as well, then please understand that I did do my best to get that through to you. So yeah, I have created a little section down below in the description box of notes that I had collected after or during I had made this, it's called the Festive Dragon Chevron scarf. So yeah, I made some notes down below as I was making the piece, and I concluded with the piece. So you'll see how much yard I used at the bottom in the description. So just open up that little dialogue description box for the show notes, and you'll see also the length that I went through, the yardage use, and also you'll see a little bit about how I finish off the piece as well down in this section here at the point. So if you are lost in the tutorial and need to know those directions or those details, you can find them down in the description box of the video, so video 72. But what do you think? I'm going to add a little clip of me showcasing it in our apartment here, and yeah, so I hope that you enjoy it. So that was me doing a little bit of I guess a modeling. I'm not very good at it. Kind of like was laughing at myself in the bedroom when I was filming that. But I hope you enjoyed it. And that is the Festive Dragon Chevron scarf. I've also added a little hashtag for the very first time. I opened up an Instagram account. So I'm a little bit of I guess, in my infancy to Instagram. I'm slowly learning it, so I'm not sure whether I set the hashtag up properly, but if you ever do decide to make that tutorial or the scarf, the chevron scarf, I'd love for you to share it. Maybe if you tag me, I'm not really sure what the terms are with Instagram, but if you tag or if you use the hashtag, I'm sure that somehow they'll all gel together into one little catalog of everyone's works, which will be amazing to see what you choose for your, I guess, two yarns and how they're going to work up together. So I have brought some suggestions. I'm going to do two neutrals with the exactly the same yarns, and I'm going to make a chevron, a festive dragon chevron cowl with just wool. And I got these, I believe, from Hobium. It's part of their Lamia range. And I'm going to do a neutral. So I'm going to use color A, color B in the same color and see how that works up. And that's a great option for people who are looking to bust through smaller amounts of yarn but don't have enough to do 6 or 7 feet of a scarf, is that you can actually reduce it to a smaller size and then just put your end tail into the V part of your make when you first start it. So the beginning and end will connect. I don't know whether you can see that. I'm not probably showing you properly, but it will connect and you seam up the ends without these fringes, and you can make a small tube and have the chevron going around the tube seamlessly, and that will be your cowl. So I'm going to try that out and I'll showcase it in one of my future episodes to show you what you can do if you don't have enough yarn, and that's an option for you as well. Another option that I'm thinking if you're liking cotton is I have purchased it's Michael's Loops and Threads, the cotton colors. So it's really blowing out for some reason. I'll have to come back here. I have the Snapdragon colorway, and I also have a lighter version that runs through the similar color palette as the Snapdragon, and it's called the Coral. The colorway is called Coral. So I'm thinking of maybe that might be a good way of using the scarf as well, doing the brilliant Snapdragon color with a pastel-y version of it as well as color B. So alternating those two would be good as a suggestion. So yeah, I'm really eager to move into doing the cowl and sharing that with everyone. I guess that's all the finished items that I've got to talk about, but I do have a progress report on the little nieces, my youngest niece in Canada. She is getting a baby blanket from me, and I've done another, I'm gonna say another maybe 3 inches of the blanket. There we go. So it's sort of blowing out. I have to come back here. I'm up to the 3rd yellow-green stripe in that one. Now, I guess I'm going to answer some questions because I've had a couple of requests for, I guess, questions over the course of the last couple of episodes. So this part now will be the Q&A section of the video. So I had a question from Julia Hansen way back when. I think she was commenting on video, I don't know, in the 60s somewhere, about like if I was to get cotton yarn to dye, what kind of cotton have I tested dyeing cotton with? And I've only done a very limited selection of cotton dyeing, only because it does require a lot of rinsing. So you got to make sure that when you're using cotton that you use the appropriate dyes that will adhere to the cotton base. So that would be a tip, I guess, if you are looking into doing a little bit of dyeing of cotton yourself, and be prepared for a long rinse process to get rid of the excess dye. Now, it also means that over time, perhaps the color will fade. Like if you've got a pair of jeans and you wash them over time, the color fades from jeans, or if you have your favorite cotton t-shirt, the color does fade anyway. It's a natural process of what happens when you rinse and you are using, washing and wearing your garments anyway. So I have tried the cotton cream or cream cotton from Loops and Thread, and I've over dyed a mustard color, adding in red. So that's the results there. And I have dyed the same line of cotton from Loops and Thread, and this was originally in, I believe, the cream or the white. It says cream. So the colorway was cream originally, and then I variegated color dyed. Lots of rinsing. Just note that there is lots of rinsing. The other thing that I've dyed as well is I want to say it's called Good Earth. It might be a universal yarn, I think it is. And it's a blend of cotton and linen, and I've dyed that as well. So those are the only three things that I've dyed that have had the majority of cotton within it. I've also done a little bit of a cotton wool blend, but the amount of cotton within that has been quite a small, I guess, percentage of the blend. But I think what Julia wanted to know was mostly cotton, because perhaps there's an algae out there that she has. I'm not too sure. But I hope that helped. And then I have another question. Well, not a question, but more of a helpful hint when I was talking about tension and my ribbing resulting in some sort of sloppy, I guess, transition work between the pearls and the knits, and a lot of yarn holes that gaped open when I stretched my ribbing. And I got some great responses here from Janet Morton, who said that she's seen a very good tutorial on how to resolve those issues with tighter stitches together and saving a lot of yarn, which is interesting. And it's from A Very Pink Knits. So Stacey's the host of A Very Pink Knits, and she goes through a couple of the I guess the tips and tricks of how to tighten up those ribbing, I guess, alterations that you go between the knit and the pearls. Also, there was another comment with Vicky Crabtree also mentioned that Suzanne Bryan has a YouTube channel, and she also goes through the processes of how to neaten up your ribbing. So thank you for those guys, those suggestions. I just wanted to share them with everyone. So if they are looking to neaten up their ribbing work, like how I should be doing, what I should be doing, I should say, then those are some suggestions. I guess that might be all that I have to talk about. Now, there is one thing that I want to mention. With the tutorial piece that I uploaded on Tuesday, I'm super stoked that there was one of our fiber friends out there who really jumped into it and took the project to an amazing, I guess, end with her try of the chevron scarf, and she posted it already and it looks brilliant. So that is Patty Ashton. So thank you, Patty. I'm actually looking down here because I have notes, so I do apologize that I haven't remembered all the names, so I'm sort of like having to look down. I really loved the way that you styled it with the yarn choice from Ice Yarns, and it's kind of like this earthy tones that run through her two choices of yarn that she uses in the chevron. And she also had enough of the same yarn to do a hat as well, with a really nice furry pom-pom, and I just love it. It's super cute. So thank you for posting that and sharing that with me. So I guess that covers all of the makes. Now on to acquisitions. So only one acquisition this week. I do have one small yarn purchase that I made as well, but I'm going to add that into another video coming later down the way. But what I had purchased was, wow, it's from Rell, from the Dabbling Hook. I love this. So a few, I want to say maybe months ago, Rell had put together, hi Rell, some shirts, and she had cut up some of her son's shirts and made them into project bags, and I missed out. I was like, oh no. And this time around, I saw them, I was flagged that she had put them onto her Etsy shop, and I'll include her Etsy shop down below. These new bags, so these are the scrap, I think she calls them her scrap project bags. So they're all the scrap pieces that she has collected over the course of making up all of her other fabric makes. So I really love all of the different little I guess they're squares and rectangles and ribbon styled joins that she's made. Very, very beautiful, handcrafted. And it has her little logo tag there. Love that, Rell. So it's a zip project bag, and inside is my next project that I'm going to be working on. And it has a pocket in here on the side, and in which was a little surprise for me. It was like a cup of life from a tea variety, and it's organic, called cinnamon and ginger. So thank you for that. I will be enjoying that tea. A lovely sachet of lavender. Smells great. So when it arrived, it actually smelled wonderful. Thank you for that. And this is the back of it. Has a very easy to wear strap as well if I'm walking around and I'm needing to like take a project with me. I can use this wonderful scrap bag. I love it so much. Thank you, Rell. So that was a purchase that I made of last 2 weeks ago, I think. And it just arrived about 4 days ago. So yeah, that is all that I have to catch you up with right now. I hope you are staying safe and enjoying your week and your crafts. And for all of the people on the West Coast, my heart goes out to you, and I hope that you are safe and that you are somewhere that's sheltered and you are out of harm's way of the bushfires that are raging on down there. So yeah, let's pray that the weather changes and that we have less wind, some rain. Right now, I think our forecast is that in the next day or two, we will be getting some rain. So that will help relieve some of the efforts that all of the exhausted firefighters must be experiencing right now. So let's all hope for that rain to come. All right, well, I'm gonna say goodbye, and I'll catch up with you in a week's time. So I hope you have a great week. Bye for now.